Welcome to Geeky Gals Net.
I don't know why that's funny, but it is.
Hello. I'm Cece, also known as Java Pearl. Who are you?
Arthur Sheppy, Wing Commander.
I don't think so. Who are you really?
Damaris.
What is your username on Ravelry, Damaris?
Damaris Dash a bit weird.
And she is. A lot.
Wing Commander.
Not just a bit.
Sir Arthur Sheppy.
We just we watched Cabin Pressure.
Yeah. When people say they're gonna watch Cabin Pressure, I'm like, good luck with that.
We listened to the new episode of Cabin Pressure, but we'll talk about that in a bit. This is episode 21, and today is January the 16th, 2013.
Ooh.
We say a big hello to any new viewers we have here with us today, and a big welcome back to all of our returning viewers. And we have a lot to talk about today, so we probably should get started. Here we go.
Now we're going to talk about what is on our needles.
Yes.
I still have socks because I'm too lazy to knit on them.
We need help. Damaris needs motivation. Someone motivate her, please, because it's not working when I try. You made some progress.
Some. I haven't even started on the foot yet.
So these are 2 at a time toe-up socks. On Force? US Force.
Brava Sport. Brava Cards.
No. That's a whole different yarn, honey.
Yes.
This is Knit Picks Brava Sport in Rouge.
Yeah, what's Jacquard?
That's the one that I did the preemie hat in this week. Oh. The Bravo Jacquard color. Okay. From the Schmorschmorn company that I can never pronounce.
I think it's German.
I think so too. So, do we need to issue you a challenge this week to get you motivated?
No, because then I'll be stressed. I'll be like, oh, I'm gonna get it done again.
I think that you should be to the heel flap by next week.
Now I'll be stressed. Thank you.
No, not for you to be stressed. Just to remind you to work on them.
I'll be stressed.
Daddy has to work Saturday. We'll be watching lots of, probably Buffy. And you could knit while we watch Buffy.
But I have to pay attention. I have to look at what I'm knitting when I'm knitting it. Unless it's just knit. This is not just knit.
Well, if you get done with the toe, it is. It's knit for how many ever long rows. That is her challenge this week. I am challenging. I'm issuing you a challenge. Schmeal. Okay. Are you done?
Yes.
You've heard it here. I love you. Okay, I have 2 projects in progress. The first one is actually a project I've knit up before, and I had a request for somebody wanted one, so I am knitting it for her. This is the Junction Shawl by Lee Meredith Lethal that I did as a mystery knit along. Was that in October? Yeah. And I've showed it to y'all. It was the brown one with the pink chains and such on it. And my mother-in-law, Jimmy, asked if I would make her one. And she picked out the yarn, and she picked very similar colors to what I used on mine. The brown is... well, actually, both yarns are Knit Picks Comfy Fingering Weight. And the brown is called Bison, and the pink is called Peony. I've only gotten just a little ways on section 1, because this is one of those projects that I have to pay very close attention to when I'm working on it, and if I have a foggy brain, that doesn't work, and I've had a pretty bad foggy brain this week, so I've been working on some simpler things. my other work in progress is another pair of socks. This time, I am trying an afterthought heel in them using Laura Linneman's afterthought heel pattern on Ravelry. But I'm kind of combining that with my regular vanilla sock pattern that I got from the class I took at my local yarn store, because I wanted to do them 2 at a time toe up, and her pattern is top down. So I'm kind of modifying it a bit, but I am going to do the afterthought heel. And this is 2 different yarns that are left over from other projects that I'm mixing together. So this bottom color has pinks and oranges in it. It's this is Regia Hand Dye Effect by K Facet in the balloon colorway, and it's kind of shades of pinks and orange. And then the other color I'm using is also another Regia, and this one is in the Random Stripe by K Facet in Sizzle colorway, and it's got like purples and maroons and reds and oranges and greens. They're not going to be matchy obviously, because I just started at the place I was in the ball, but that doesn't matter to me really. So and I'm doing these on size 1s, 2.25 millimeters, and so this is one of those mindless projects that I can knit on while I watch TV, unlike the lethal shawl. And that's all that's on my needles. So I think we're ready to move on, because it's been a productive week for me, and I have lots to show you in the next segment. And now we're back with finished projects.
They're all hers.
They are all on mine because she is working on her socks. So last week I showed you this hat that I finished, and this week I show you its twin brother. This is the Tristan hat done on US 6 4.0 millimeters. This is the Rowan Baby Merino Silk DK yarn in Bluebird. And they don't watch the podcast. This is for my husband's brothers who are twins. Their birthday is coming up, and so I made them hats. They like to run. I thought it would be a good thing to keep their heads warm while they run. So I tried to get Damaris to model the other one. She wouldn't do it. So now we have twin hats. And apparently it was just the week of hats this week, because I knit a lot of hats. So this is the Rambled hat, and it's a mixture of garter stitch and moss stitch and ribbing, of course, and it kind of makes a square X thing at the top. This is for my nephew Wyatt for Valentine's Day, and I used the leftover Bluebird from the twin hats and mixed it with, this is Universal Yarn Classic Shades in Storm Clouds, which I used on my mom's shawl back in November, because I didn't have enough of the Bluebird to do the whole hat, so I did the ribbing in the Storm Clouds. And this was on US 5s 3.75 millimeters and US 6s 4.0 millimeters. And it's just a little hat. I think it turned out cute. I kind of like it. The different patterning kind of made it look cool. And it was a real easy knit. And then I did a preemie hat out of my pattern, the top-down preemie hat.
That one is jacquard.
Yes, this is the Bravo jacquard color in mulberry, and this was on US 2.5s 3.0 millimeters. A few weeks ago I talked about some of my goals for this year, in relation to my word for the year, create. And one of those goals is to do at least 6 preemie hats to donate. So there's number 1. And it's a free pattern on Ravelry, so that I designed. So if you want to download it, go for it. You start at the top with a
Provisional.
no, a Susie. I think it's Susie O's cast on, and it's one of those that you pull tight, and it makes the little round part in the middle, and then you do increases, and then it's pretty much just stocking it the whole way down until you get to the ribbing. And it's a pretty fast knit. It's not a fat knit. It's a fast knit. And then other hat for this week. So back in December, I made a Camden cap for my sister Carrie for her birthday. And when we went to visit them for Christmas, I gave it to her because her birthday is 5 days before Christmas. And her daughter Lola, who's my niece, who is 4, tried on her mom's Camden cap and loved it and asked me if I would make one for her. So this is a Valentine's Day present for Lola. And when I did it for my sister, I used this yarn right here, which is Universal Yarn Classic Worsted Impressions in pink, red, and yellow. It doesn't have a colorway name. But I was worried that I was not going to have enough for the entire hat. So I mixed with it, this way, some yarn out of my stash, the Simply Soft in Sunshine. And so I alternated doing, for the body of the hat, I alternated doing two rows of the pink, red, yellow, and then 2 rows of the Sunshine. And I think it kind of turned out pretty cool. I love this pattern. I'm going to knit one for myself, and Damaris has asked for one too. The thing that drives me nuts is trying to get the brim done, because you knit the brim and you use a provisional cast on, and then you block it, the brim folded in half, and then you put a piece of plastic into it, which I used cut out of a soda bottle, a 2-liter soda bottle. And then you have to knit that closed, and then cast on more stitches using an alternate cable cast on. And it's very difficult to work with at the beginning as you're trying to get that cast on and everything. So that's my only complaint, is that is kind of difficult to work with. But once you get into the body of the hat, I put in stitch markers, and it was knit one through the back loop, purl, until the next stitch marker for the most part. So I really like how it turned out, and I hope Lola will like it. It was Hat Week. And I had much success. That's what I finished this week, and I hope you finished a lot of things too. All right, on to the next section. And now it's time for my very favorite part of Geeky Girls Knit. Yummies! And this is where we talk about our favorite things, or things that are making us happy this week, or things we love, and thus are yummy. What's yummy, babe?
Any Whovian will immediately recognize this as the Journal of River Song.
Yes, Doctor Who.
It has the BBC logo in the corner.
It does.
Yes. I got this from Amazon with some Christmas money. It's empty right now. See? It's empty.
It's really cool, though.
Yeah. And it has 160 pages.
Did you count them?
No, I remember it from the description of it.
I was going to say, is it 160 pages, or is it 160 fronts and then 160 backs? Giving you 320 actual.
I think the last thing you said.
Because that's always a lot more fun. It's very pretty.
And it smells good too. Wait, I was gonna say something
I don't know.
I was gonna say something about it.
Oh, that was my elbow. I'm so sorry if you heard that. My elbow popped. Sorry if there's a little bit of a thing right there because we had a little technical issue, but it's fixed.
So when I get things in packages, she usually always opens them. I ask if I can open them, but she doesn't let me open them. But when we went to go get the package, she wasn't here in the car. So my dad let me open it, and it made me really happy. So now I want to open all the things of mine that come in packages.
Because sometimes there's
Not presents, I mean, because you know which packages of mine are presents.
not always.
Well, I know. Well, you know if I. Well, I know that you know that I ordered something.
I know that you know that you know that I know that he knows that she knows that Bob knows.
That you're not telling the truth. Well, we know if we've ordered something before me, and we know what type of box it will come in. So can I open those?
Maybe. Maybe that'll be your prize for getting to the heel flap.
Okay. Wait, I can open my boxes for all eternity if I get to the heel flap before next week.
No, not for all eternity.
Oh.
We'll see. Okay, so is it my turn now?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I think I showed you that I got a Kindle, the new Kindle, a couple weeks ago, and we've been waiting for the covers to come in. So I had a little bit of an issue with finding a cover because I have the new Kindle HD, and so there's not as many covers available for it yet. And the only one I found in pink that was in my price range, I didn't like. It was not like the pink cover that I had on my other one. And so I just didn't really like it. So I decided to try something different. And what I did was
That's a good restaurant.
Yes, it is. If you're ever in the southeast corner of New Mexico, you should look for something different and try it because it's very good. So I ordered just a black cover, and then I ordered this decal off Etsy. And it's more bright pink than it's showing on the screen. And so I got that in this week and put it on there, and thus far I've taken it out with me, and thus far it is not peeling or lifting or anything. So there's my new cover. This is just a little do-bobber thing that I had on my other one that I just attached to it. The coolest thing about this cover, it automatically turns on and off when you open and close it.
On?
On.
Off. Wait,
Off.
off. Wait, what?
On.
Clap on? Clap off. Clap
On.
on? Clap off.
It's magic.
Clap on, clap off.
My other favorite this week, I got caught up on Downton Abbey.
She did, and she was crying.
Oh my word, I cried a lot. You missed it last night. You'd already gone to bed. I cried a lot more. So I had watched the first 6 episodes of series 1 on Netflix streaming, and had been waiting for series 2 to come because I didn't want to watch the last episode of series 1 until the new series came because I knew it was going to be a big cliffhanger. And it's still not available streaming, series 2 on Netflix. And then I thought to myself,
what a wonderful world.
I thought to myself, hey self, we have Amazon Prime. I wonder if it's available. Stop. She's banging her journal around. I wonder if it's available to stream through Amazon Prime. And lo and behold, it was. So I rewatched all of series 1 because it had been so long since I watched it. And then I watched series 2. And then for series 3, instead of purchasing them individually, I'm not catching it when it's airing live on Sunday nights. because there's something else we watch at that time. And so I am recording it the following Sunday morning at like 1 o'clock in the morning and then watching it. So I'm a week behind. So last night I just watched series 3, episode 1 last night. I'm not spoiling anybody, I promise, but it's really good. And so now I'm telling Damaris that she needs to watch it because I think she would like it.
Sometime, but we're watching Buffy and stuff.
I think she would really like it. So that's been my other yummy this week, is getting to watch lots and lots and lots of Downton Abbey and catching up. That's how I got so much knitting done, was watching Downton Abbey and knitting at the same time. Okay, what's our other thing? Oh, spoiler alert first.
Spoiler alert! This is the airport speaking. Listen to the airport. This is a spoiler warning for Series 4, Episode 2 of Cabin Pressure, Uskurti.
If you have not listened and don't want to be spoiled, fast forward, because we're going to talk for a second about the new episode that was just on today.
And we listen live because Radio 4 is awesome like that.
So I totally loved the whole "this is the airport speaking" segment.
Yes.
Hysterical. The best part of it was, and if you have a bomb, those are not allowed on the airplane. Please deposit it in the bin.
Put it in the bin. If you have your children, put them on the airplane. If you have your baggage, put it on the airplane. If you have a bomb, those are not allowed on the airplane.
Put it in the bin.
Please put it in the bin.
That was brilliant. And then the whole
Martin should never do an Irish accent again.
The whole geese segment where one of the geese swallowed his signet ring, and then they were going to scan all the geese with the metal detector because the airport guy didn't get to use the metal detector very often, and so he wanted to play with it, and so they were going to scan all the geese and find the goose that had the ring in it.
No, Carolyn, I'm sorry. I carried the sheep for you. I climbed the tree for you. I rode the back of the truck for you. But now I have to scan these geese.
And I'm still just very confused as to why she was buying a stuffed sheep for
Herc.
Because Damaris told me that Herc is afraid of sheep.
Yes, and I heard when we were listening to it that after Carolyn said it's a sheep, that she said it was a sheep, the whole audience went, "Oh!" because we know that Herc doesn't like sheep, and we knew that before Carolyn said, "Oh, he doesn't like sheep."
I didn't remember this, and so I was unsure as to why everyone was gasping. And so
Yes,
she had to tell me. I'm like,
I did too. I was like,
she was like about to fall off the bed listening to it, and I was like, what? I don't get it. Help someone.
And I said, he's scared to death of sheep. Hercules is scared to death of sheep.
The other funny was that they were going 70 miles in the airplane, so it was like, okay, we've ascended. The captain will be back as we prepare to descend.
Bing.
Off, bing, bing bong. We are now approaching our descent. It's like, that's kind of strange that you went 70 miles in a plane.
At first, I thought they were fighting over who was going to use the intercom. It was like bing bong, and it was like, boys, stop fighting.
So anyway, it was a good episode. If you haven't listened, try to get a chance to listen this week sometime.
It's available for a week after it airs. So
on BBC 4. So, and the next
Radio 4.
Yeah, Radio 4. Sorry,
BBC 4 is the TV channel. Sorry. I think
BBC Radio 4.
Yeah.
And next week will be episode 4.3.
Vaduz.
I'm
gonna look up where that is
on the 23rd. All right. We should get into our next segment because we have lots to talk about in it. So here we go.
Now we're going to talk about what books we're reading and what TV we're watching. I am a man.
That was a very speedy introduction.
I know, I'm trying to be Benedict Cumberbatch.
So what are you reading?
I am not reading anything right now, but I'm either going to read a Narnia book or a Harry Potter book next. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. I'm trying to be Benedict Cumberbatch.
Well, I read a lot this week. I finished Madeleine L'Engle's A Wrinkle in Time, A Wind in the Door, A Swiftly Tilting Planet, and I'm about halfway through Many Waters. It has been a good reading week. I really like her stuff. I think I'm going to have to add that to your school curriculum next year or something.
No, I will read it without a curriculum. I will.
All right, are we ready to talk TV? Because we have 8. Count them 8. TV shows, yes, to talk about this week. And we ran out of room in our notebook and had to write 4 sticky notes worth of stuff.
Well, no one told me that we had lots more TV shows, and I was writing what I thought was the accepted font size for Merlin, but no one thought to tell me that.
All right, so let's start with Person of Interest. It was episode 2.12, Prisoner's Dilemma. And this episode really focused on the whole John Harold situation this week. You look very different without your glasses.
I know. This is my normal face. This is my glasses face. Wait, this is my glasses face.
So what it came down to was we saw a lot of John's history about him being a hired killer. He had a partner, a female partner. And then we see that that John and this female partner are both instructed to kill each other because they have outlived their usefulness apparently. And he gets shot but escapes, and then she apparently dies in an explosion. However,
Kaboom!
In present day, we see Carter interrogating these 4 guys that are in the jail, one of them being John, them trying to figure out who the man in the suit is. Carter is doing her best to get John out of jail, but eventually he's released. But then John and Carter are arrested by Agent Donnelly because he figures out that they're working together, but he doesn't understand what they're doing. But so he takes them into custody. They're in the back seat of an SUV. He's driving. He's taking them to this like one person he can trust with the FBI is what he said. And at that moment, Harold has a number come in. Harold looks it up, and it's Agent Donnelly's number. Harold calls Agent Donnelly, and at that moment, there is an accident. This big 18-wheeler or something crashes into the SUV, and all of a sudden, John's former female partner, who we all thought was dead, comes up to the car, shoots Donnelly, injects John in the neck with something, and then it ends. And it will not be back until the 31st with episode 2.13, Dead Reckoning. So, they left us with a little bit of a cliffhanger. Elementary. This week was episode 1.12, M. Okay, so we learned a whole lot of stuff. I got really frustrated because Damaris figured it out before I did. Don't ruin it yet.
I'm not ruining it. I'm just saying that's okay. Because I know some of the Conan Doyle canon already, even though I haven't read all the books. I've done my research.
Yes. So, because I watched it on Thursday night with Russ, and then Damaris and I watched it again on Friday, and but I wouldn't tell her if she was right or not. So we see this man who we assume is Moriarty.
Sounds French
killing
now.
people. And he does this with this tripod that he's created, and then he hangs them upside down and then slits their throat and they bleed out. Apparently, he's done it 37 times. Sherlock was helping with the investigation in London before his addiction stopped him or interfered with him helping with the case. And we find out that then there's somebody breaks into Sherlock's apartment, and we assume again that it's Moriarty because it's a note is left signed with M dot or M period. And then Sherlock had this hidden camera thing that nobody knew about, and so he has a picture of who he also thinks is Moriarty. He doesn't know that name though.
Sounds Italian.
Just M. So he tracks down and finds this guy who we think is Moriarty, and we find out the reason that that the whole addiction thing started was because M killed Irene Adler, who he loved a lot. And so he wants revenge. So he captures him, and then as they're talking in this warehouse where Sherlock has him, we find out
he's Sebastian Moran.
He's not Moriarty. Moriarty is the one who has been hiring him, and he set him up so that Sherlock would be able to find him. So Moriarty is still out there. We also find out that Sebastian Moran is not the one that killed Irene, because he was in jail for a brawling in a pub or something at the time Irene was killed. So we know that Moriarty is the one that killed Irene. So Sherlock takes Moran into the station. So also as an underlying theme in this was the fact that Joan was going to be leaving soon, because they only had like a week left or something. And so at the end, when after we find out about Moran and Moriarty, Sherlock is very emotional, and she's worried, I think, that he's going to go back into using drugs and such again. And so she contacts Sherlock's dad, who's the one that hired her.
Apparently his initial is also M. I'm hoping that doesn't stand for Mycroft, because Mycroft is Sherlock's brother, not his father.
Yeah, I don't know. So she asks if she can stay on. She tells him she's worried about Sherlock. His dad says no, and then she lies to Sherlock and says that he wants her to stay on, and so she's going to stay on, not getting paid. And now we have even longer wait, because Elementary will not be back until Sunday, February the 3rd, on Super Bowl Sunday. I guess they're going to air it right after the Super Bowl.
When is the Super Bowl?
February the 3rd.
I know what time.
Oh, I don't know. Are the Dallas Cowboys playing in it? No. So do I care? No.
I don't care anyway.
And it'll be episode 1.13, The Deductionist.
It's not even a word. I knew it was Sebastian Moran the whole time.
She did.
And it was confirmed when he said he was an ex-war Marine. So, woo!
You had it figured out.
Yeah.
All right, next up is Fringe, episode 5.11, The Boy Must Live. And this was the final episode before the finale. So Friday night we'll get the finale, and it's actually 2 episodes back to back. Episode 5.12, Liberty, and episode 5.13, An Enemy of Fate. And this is the end of Fringe. So they are looking for and find September, who is now known as Donald. Walter goes into the deprivation tank to help him remember, and he sees images, and they're able to locate him. At the same time, the really mean observer guy that I can never remember his name.
October?
No.
Does he have a month name?
No, I don't think so.
I could have just gone through all the list of the
but
months.
I can't remember what his name is. Anyway, he travels to the year
Sorry.
2609 and asks for permission to go back to their present day, which is like 2040 or 50 something, somewhere around there. And at the same time, we also find out about that the child observer, who they call Michael. I couldn't associate Michael with child observer. So like in all my notes here, it says C.O. Child for child observer because I couldn't remember. They found out that he is an anomaly, which we knew from the previous episode. It was titled that, but he should have been killed. However, Donald, after spending time with Walter et al., started having feelings of fatherhood, and so he took Michael back into the past to save his life. And as he's telling us all this, we also find out that the reason he is Donald now is because he was punished for helping the Walter and them all et al. And had his device removed, and that's why he's human now, and his hair has grown back and everything. I found it really ironic that the music box that he shows to Michael is playing the song "What Child Is This?" Okay, so we hear more details about the fact that they're denying the observer permission to go back and kill Walter and them all because that period of time they have a 99.99999% chance of succeeding. The ironic thing is the child observers of anomaly was a 0.00001% anomaly.
What is that supposed to mean?
So the amount that they have chance of succeeding, what's left over is how much the anomaly was in the child observer. And it changed him so drastically that he is able to have emotions, and he has this ability to communicate like with the images and such. So the plan all along, we find out finally what the whole plan was, is to send Michael to the time when the scientists figure out all this technology and the observers come into being, and show them what can happen, stop the observers from being created, and thus all time will reset. Thus,
Michael will never exist.
Right, but also they think that Olivia thinks that they'll get Etta back. But
my knowledge on paradoxes is not substantial enough for this.
I know, because my thought on paradoxes is, if the observers never exist, will they have any fringe events to investigate in the first place? So will they ever really meet?
Moses.
I know, it's like totally mind-blowing. So they are trying, Walter and Olivia and Peter and Michael are trying to escape after getting some of the technology they need from Michael to do from Donald to be able to do the plan. And Michael turns himself over to the observers so the rest of them can escape. So that's where we're at for this finale coming on Friday. You want to talk Merlin?
Let's both talk Merlin.
Okay, well, I've been talking a lot, so I'm going to let you talk Merlin for a little bit.
Okay.
So what did we watch?
We watched Merlin. 5.2 Arthur's Bane. Part 2.
Part dos.
Okay. So it starts off. I'm not good at talking.
Yes, you are.
No, I'm not really. It starts off, Morgana has this dream that she and Aethusa, that's the baby dragon that healed her, are trapped and I don't know what that's about.
I'm sure we'll find out.
And the alien thing
Yeah, I still haven't figured out what this thing is.
has been watching over Gwen.
I'm thinking that he is something related to magic, and he's like the last one left. But because he
I
has,
thought it was a she.
well, I thought it was a he.
I think the person that was doing the motion capture was a she.
Oh. No, I thought it was a he. Anyway, this alien looking thing, because it keeps speaking magic words, so it's something in relation to the magic issue that plagued the whole series.
And the diamere is the key to all knowledge. All of it. Okay.
What's the diamere? Diamere.
The alien thing.
There you go. What else?
And Gwen intends to use Sifa, who's imprisoned for treason, to get Ruidan, who's Sifa's father, and he's evil.
And Sifa was her maid, her new maid in the last episode.
Yeah.
And her father, Rodan, is working with Morgana.
And he's evil, and he dies
He does.
because he comes to rescue Sifa, but then he dies.
So after that, Merlin and Arthur sneak into Izmir to rescue the knights, and they run into Mordred, who they think is helping Morgana. However,
it's confusing. See, they think that he's helping Morgana, and Mordred seems happy looking when he meets Morgana again, but then he prevents Morgana from killing Arthur by stabbing her in the side, and then he rescues Arthur and goes back with all the knights and Merlin and people to Camelot, and he gets knighted. I'm just like, what is this?
And in the midst of all that, we find out that Arthur's bane is not Mordred. Arthur's bane is himself.
Dang, it's deep.
Did you say already that Mordred got knighted?
Yeah.
Okay, and so then the end of the episode was Morgana walking away from Izmir with, how do you say the dragon? Ithusa, the baby dragon, following her. Next week,
the death song of Uther Pendragon. Uther!
So that'll be episode 5.3, and it'll be on Friday night, the 18th.
Yay.
All right, now we're going into Once Upon a Time. I told you we had a lot of shows this week. It was episode 2.11, The Outsider. This kind of all gave us some backstory that we were missing. Gold also figures out that with this magic potion that he has, that somebody can cross the line out of Storybrooke into the real world and not forget everything. We see Dr. Hopper's funeral, which is really, really, really sad. We get backstory on Belle. She meets Mulan chasing after the, I don't know how you pronounce it, Yaogwa? It was the fiery dog-looking creature, who turns out to be Prince Philip. He was under a curse. So Belle saved him, proving that she can embrace an adventure and she's not just about the books.
Okay.
She saved him.
I'm still waiting for them to do Ariel.
I know. And then she gets Mulan and Philip together to be able to work together.
Do they have Cinderella?
We've seen Aurora. Have we seen Cinderella?
And what's Cinderella's prince's name? He doesn't even have a name.
I don't think we have seen Cinderella, but I could be wrong.
We've seen Gus Gus?
We have seen Gus Gus.
He died. He was killed.
We find out the truth. Well, actually, we already knew the truth.
Wait.
Because we saw it happen.
The truth is out there.
Yes, it is. Emma and the rest of them find out the truth that Dr. Hopper is alive and that it was not Regina who supposedly killed him, but it was Cora. Belle rescues Dr. Hopper off of Hook's ship. at the end, Gold is headed out of town to look for his son, and
Who's his son?
I can't remember what his name is. He tells Belle that she can't go with him because supposedly he doesn't have enough magic potion. I think it's a lie. However, so she like goes with him to the edge of town to say goodbye. At that moment, Hook appears, shoots Belle. She falls across the line. She doesn't remember herself as Belle. She does not remember Gold. She forgets everything. And then Gold is trying to kill Hook because he's so mad. A car drives up, drives over the line, almost hits Belle. Gold pulls her out of the way, but it crossed the line, which is a difference because people haven't been able to come and go out of town.
Did we see who was in the car?
Not yet, but
What color was the car? What type of car?
I don't remember.
Was it just a regular car?
It was just a regular car with this man in it that we didn't recognize at this point. So next week is going to be on the 20th, episode 2.12, In the Name of the Brother. And then we move on to the post-it notes. Bunheads was adorable this week. Episode 1.12, Channing Tatum is a fine actor.
I was laughing and crying at the same time like this.
It was a really good episode. Michelle's teaching again. I think it would be brilliant to have a tap dance flash mob.
Without an assault.
Right, without the assault. There's Sasha and Roman keep trying to meet up at the dance studio, and Michelle keeps catching them. I loved her line about, I am all-knowing, I am Michelle. That was funny. Boo and Carl, why did I say Bo? Boo and Carl are adorable. I know why I said Bo, because he made her a bow and arrows.
Oh.
And then she's like running, and Michelle says, did you see Katniss just run by? That was cute. Truly is a mess. We have new characters, Frankie and Cosette, who are brother and sister. Boo meets Carl's parents. The mother is from Gilmore Girls, but she's also been in Bunheads previously as another character. If you want more details, go on the Ravelry group. We have a thread on there for Gilmore Girls alumni sightings. It'll tell you all the details. Boo thinks Carl wants to marry her because of something she overheard. Then Carl meets Boo's parents. Boo's mom just cracks me up. She's making paella while she's on bed rest, which she has now decided is stool rest. So she's in the kitchen cooking, sitting on a stool, and still on bed rest. Figure that one out. The paella in the book is brown. Why is my paella green? I'll put barbecue sauce on it. That'll make it brown. That's my line of thinking. I would totally do something like that. And then we get Boo's whole I'll marry you ramble. She says, I was touched and nauseous, but mostly touched.
That's something I would say.
That's really cute.
I'm her. I'm Boo. Boo's mom is my mom. Yes.
And then we go with Truly and Michelle to meet Truly's landlord, who is Paris from Gilmore Girls, known as Millie, and apparently Truly stole Hubble from Millie in the past, and that's why she's so mean to Truly now. We see Cosette dance. She's really good. And then at the very end, we see Sasha's mom shows up and tells Sasha she has to move away, and Sasha refuses, and it gets ugly. Next week's episode on the 21st is episode 1.13. I'll be your Meyer Lansky.
Who?
You'll have to look it up.
I still don't know who Channing Tatum is.
He's an actor.
I kind of got that from the title.
We watched a new show this week. Brand new show. Apparently it has aired in Canada already because it's a Canadian show.
Oh, Canada.
This show is called Continuum. We saw episode 1.1, A Stitch in Time. So the kind of plot of this series is going to be, well, first let me say that we see a lot of familiar actors because
we saw the cigarette smoking man from the X-Files.
Yes, we saw people from Stargate because it was filmed in Canada and they tend to use the same sci-fi actors. And it's not really 5, but
it's like Great Britain. Welcome to Great Britain. We have One props department. We have one props department. What? 3 sets and 12 actors.
Yes. So the storyline of this show is in the year 2076 or 2077. I'm not sure.
77. It's 77.
Well, 76, I think, is when the terrorist attack happened, and then 6 months later, we're into 2077.
Yeah.
Okay. So there's this terrorist group called Liberate that blows up 30,000 people trying to kill 20 people that are part of the corporate Congress because they want democracy to return rather than the corporate dictatorship that's happened, because apparently the corporate world bailed out the rest of the world and has taken over. So there's no democracy. Corporate is in charge of everything. So these 8 people in this group called Liberate are sentenced to death. During the execution, a device is smuggled in that's supposed to send them back in time 6 years, but it sends them 60 years instead. And by accident, one of the police officers, her name is Kira Cameron, is taken with them, and leaving her son and her husband behind in 2077. She tries to find the terrorists. This communication channel that she's talking on turns out to be in the process of being created. It's a brand new technology 60 years before by this gentleman called Alex Sadler, who in the future, 60 years later, her husband, Kira's husband, works for Alex Sadler. Older Alex Sadler is cigarette smoking man.
Yes.
We have a whole time paradox issue here for me, like we were talking about in the other show.
My knowledge of paradoxes is not substantial enough for this
I know
stuff.
It kind of throws you because it's like it seems like that the older Alex Sadler knows who Kira is, and like has memory of working with her, although he hasn't said anything to her about it. But
because of paradox, another
paradox. But does he really know all this? Does he remember all this? It's a whole mess that they're going to have to work through. So the prisoners start trying to cause a war back in 2012. Kira meets with this detective. His name is Carlos, and she claims to be part of the Portland Police Department so that she can help Carlos track down these terrorists. They are going to work together and try to make this right, although she has not told him the truth about who she really is. But she has told Alex Sadler, who is helping her via the technology. Lots of really cool technology in this show. It seems like it could be a pretty good show. We'll keep watching and see what we think.
I want her outfit, because she can change it into anything she wants.
Like she changed the color of pants by pushing some buttons. And next episode is next Monday, the 21st, episode 1.2, Fast Times. Last show. We're going long today. We had lots of shows. NCIS, episode 10.12, Shiva. So this was the part 2 to last week's episode where Ziva's father died and also Director Vance's wife died. There was lots of really, really, really touching moments in this episode. We see Ziva praying and her talking and saying, "Show me a sign so that I shouldn't lose hope." Ziva and Tony together in this episode were just amazing. Tony finds Shmuel for Ziva to help her be able to grieve. Tony hears Ziva having a bad dream and goes in and wakes her up and holds her hand and is so sweet to her. In the end, we find out that it's Ziva's father's protege who hired someone to kill Ziva's father, and also seems like he's involved in killing the gentleman, Cosme, that Ziva's father came to the U.S. to meet with in secret. As Ziva is leaving at the airport with her father's body, he whispers to her, "You are not alone," and she says, "I know."
Wait, you mean Tony, right?
Yes, Tony. But
you just said he.
Oh, sorry, Tony.
You were talking about other he's.
Sorry. Tony whispers this to her. I believe it was in Hebrew, but it translated to "You are not alone." We see the funerals of both Ziva's father, her burying him, and also Director Vance's wife. We see her picking olives, which was something very symbolic in the previous episode, and then praying at the Weeping Wall. The song that played during the funerals was Patty Griffin's "Not Alone." Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. And it was very poignant for this episode. The next episode is not going to be till the 29th. It'll be episode 10.13, Hit and Run. There you go. 8 TV shows. All pretty impactful this week. All right, let's tie this thing up and get it done. It's trivia time. So let's try to get through this question pretty quickly because there's lots of answers. We're doing the 8-week, 8 questions, 1 winner trivia contest right now. Last week's question was a thing that you could earn a lot of entries on. Name as many actors as you can that have appeared in both Doctor Who, 2005 to present, only the TV show, nothing else. We didn't count like characters from video games and stuff. It had to be in the actual TV show. And Merlin, 2008 to 2012. We found 23 answers. Briefly, here they are. Pauline Collins played Queen Victoria in Doctor Who and Alice in Merlin. Angel Coulby played Catherine in Doctor Who and Gwen in Merlin. Sarah Council played a waitress in Doctor Who and Mary in Merlin. Phil Davis played Lucius in Doctor Who, and the Gleeman in Merlin. Joe Dempsey played Klein in Doctor Who and William in Merlin. Lindsay Duncan played Adelaide Brooke in Doctor Who and Queen Annis in Merlin. Tom Ellis played Thomas Milligan in Doctor Who, Cynrid in Merlin. Rick English was a stunt performer in both shows.
Woohoo.
Anthony Head played Mr. Finch in Doctor Who and Uther Pendragon in Merlin. I'm going to list all these on the website if you want to research them further.
Tom Hopper,
Jeff in Doctor Who, Percival in Merlin. Georgia Moffat, Jenny in Doctor Who, and Lady Vivian in Merlin.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Colin Morgan, Jethro in Doctor Who and Merlin in Merlin.
Woohoo.
Eve Miles, Gwen Cooper in Doctor Who, Lady Helen in Merlin. Sarah Parrish, Empress in Doctor Who, Lady Katrina in Merlin. Alex Price, Francisco in Doctor Who and William in Merlin. Alan Raglan, Mo in Doctor Who, Sheridan in Merlin. Miranda Raisin, Tallulah in Doctor Who, Isolde in Merlin. I couldn't read my own writing. Michelle Ryan, Lady Christina de Souza in Doctor Who and Nimue in Merlin.
Nimue.
Oh, Nimue.
That's a U.
Oh, like I said, I can't read my own writing. Colin Salmon, Dr. Moon in Doctor Who, and Aglin in Merlin. Andrew Tierman, Purcell in Doctor Who and Osgar in Merlin. Jim Wall, Michael in Doctor Who, Joseph in Merlin. Mark Williams, Brian in Doctor Who and the Goblin in Merlin. And Richard Wilson, Dr. Constantine in Doctor Who, Gaius in Merlin. And hold on. So 4 Peanuts got all of those answers. So she got the 23 entries for each one of those, 5 bonus entries for getting them all. And in addition, she found someone that we did not find, so she got a double entry for this person. Greg Bennett was a Sycorax warrior and also played a unit soldier in Doctor Who and a council elder in Merlin. So she ended up, 4 Peanuts got 29 entries. She was the only one that tried this week, which is sad. We thought it was a good question. Okay, here's hopefully an easy question to let everybody get an entry. If you know the answer, email or private message on Ravelry. No other ways are accepted for entry. Okay, you want to ask the question?
In BBC Sherlock, where are the exteriors of 221B Baker Street actually filmed?
So, BBC Sherlock, the exteriors of
221B.
221B are filmed in a location. Tell us where that location is, and you'll get an entry. All right, that's trivia. And that's a wrap for episode 21. Thanks for sticking with us through the whole episode. I know it's a little bit long. There was just lots to talk about this week. Connect with us online. The best way is to go to our website, Geeky Girls Knit, GeekyGirlsKnit.blogspot.com, and there are links there to Twitter, Facebook, Ravelry, iTunes, YouTube, Blip, email, every way that you could possibly want to contact us. We have a decently active group on Ravelry that we'd love to have you join and participate with us. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next week. Happy knitting. Peace.